In Week 12 of the regular season, both of these teams, the Niners and the Packers, faced each other in Levi Stadium, where the Niners won by a whopping 37-8 points. It's a 29-point blowout. And in the first half, the Niners were up 23-zip, and the Packers just couldn't move the ball, running and passing. They just couldn't move the ball, and then they eventually got down the field, and then they turned it over on downs. I think Aaron Jones got stuffed on a 4th and 1. And adding to that, where the Niners went up 10-zip early on due to great field position, both by a bad punt as well as a fumble by Aaron Rodgers, where it led to an easy 10 points for the 49ers. And that gives a lot of must-dos for the Packers to win, or even have a shot at winning back at Levi Stadium this Sunday. The Packers just aren't stacked at the wide receiver position like the 49ers are. They don't have as many weapons as the Niners do. And their main guy is Devontae Adams, and that's the guy that Aaron Rodgers targets the most. And they need to find someone else. And I believe that someone else is in the running game with the running backs, Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones. They are a great 1-2 punch dynamic duo, but they were practically shut down in the first half of Week 12. Yes, I know the numbers say that they got maybe 50 yards each, but in that first half they were getting nothing. In the second half, when they started, moving the ball a bit more, it's pretty much over. It's pretty much over. So I think that they need to get going early. And part of that's to break open that defense of the 49ers so that Aaron Rodgers can, do Aaron Rodgers things. And that run game needs to get going, not only for Aaron Rodgers' sake, but because the Packers just cannot go down by double digits and expect to win. They cannot expect to go down by double digits early on in that game to the 49ers, where the Niners are actually really good at playing keep ahead, where as soon as they get that lead, they're very, very good at keeping it. And you got to get that offensive or that offense going with Aaron Rodgers at the wheel. You got to get that going early on in order to keep up with the 49ers. That's the only way that you can expect to win, is to get that offense going, and that starts with the running game. And that's going to be very, very tough with that defensive line and that linebacking core, as well as the cornerbacks and safeties of the 49ers. And that also brings up another point, that the Packers cannot shoot themselves in the foot with turnovers, whether it's interceptions or fumbles. They cannot. As soon as they do that, you're taking away points or potential points for your team off the board. And in some situations, you're giving them right to the 49ers, who will definitely capitalize on them as much as possible. Now, on the defensive side, I talked about the offensive side, and it's very, very difficult in order for them to get going. Defensively, the Packers need to stop the Niners' ground game. So on offense, they need to get the ground game going, and on defense, they need to stop the Niners' running game, and then move them to the passing game. And I know that's still a tall order because they got a plethora of wide receivers, including George Kittle, even though he's a tight end. I mean, the guy has the speed and just the catching ability of a wide receiver while having the size of a tight end. He's an incredible player. Just hone in on him for maybe a drive, and you'll see that he is phenomenal, if you don't believe me. Like I said, it's tough to stop the Niners, but it does prevent the Niners from taking away possessions by taking away the clock by running the ball. And instead, you'll be doing that if you end up getting that running game going, where you can take off possessions from the 49ers. But also, you got to double Kittle as much as possible. And honestly, it's a tough situation for the Packers to be in defensively, where you want to take away the run game, but then the passing game by the Niners is so lethal that you got to focus on Kittle. But then you have all these other wide receivers to focus on. And Kyle Shanahan does a great job of getting these guys wide open with great routes and breaking open the defense. That at that point, you just got to be like, hopefully our guys can make a play. That's part of what I think the Packers are relying on. That let's hope our guys make a play. And let's just hope that Aaron Rodgers does Aaron Rodgers things and gives us a chance at winning it. So it's a lot of tough orders for the Packers to carry out, making sure they don't shoot themselves in the foot, get that running game going against that beast of a defense, and stopping the Niners' running game, which has been tough to do all season, and trying to move them to a passing game where they're also slightly less, but still very, very lethal. So, although it's very, very tough, I believe that the Packers can do it, but not for the whole game. Definitely not for the whole game. I believe that the Packers will be able to withstand 3 quarters, or maybe 2.5 to 3 quarters of that 49ers offense and that 49ers defense and getting through it. But I think that after that, Kyle Shanahan just has the experience and he's been here before. He has the experience with the Atlanta Falcons to break open a game. And I think that's exactly what the Niners will do, while Matt LaFleur, it's going to be a learning moment for him. He's young, but he doesn't have that same experience of being in this situation. And although Aaron Rodgers does, but Kyle Shanahan, the coach, does not. And I think the Packers are not going to be able to keep up all the way through with the 49ers, and I think that the 49ers will break away at the end of the game to end up winning and go to Miami.